Yo, what's up, dogs? I am back once again with another movie review, and today we're going to be discussing the good, the bad, and the silly for a little film called SISU Road to Revenge. And before I start, my dogs, I'm sorry for being incredibly late with this review. A series of events have happened over the last couple of weeks. I had to work a lot. We had a hockey tournament, Christmas parties. I've been in the gym trying to keep those calories in check, with all those Christmas calories in check. I got sick. I'm sick again. My throat's all scratchy today. It's just been a series of events trying to go and see this movie and then be able to sit down and just review this movie. But here we are, and I'm glad to say I saw the movie in the theater. Good old fashioned 4K resolution or 1080p, whatever it is. There was about 15 or so of us in the theater too. Like it was in the smaller theater. I definitely got the concessions. I didn't get no chocolate though. I just got popcorn and a drink, and I enjoyed every minute of this movie. Just like Sisu one, I was enthralled and just gravitated towards this, and I loved everything about it. It's silly, it's fun, it's action packed, it's everything you could want in a movie. Specifically for me, it's very grindhousey, it's very spaghetti westerny. I loved it, and I want more. So let's just get into the good right now, okay? And as always, we start with the story. It is straightforward and very, very simple, just like Sisu one, you know what I'm saying? And in this one, we have a little story going on about the history of what happened after World War II, right? So in Finland, they gave over some land to Russia as part of a peace agreement. And so everyone who lives in this old Finland area has to move out of Russian occupied Finland and start a new life in New Finland, right? And so what happens is Sisu, who is coming off of his finding of his wealth, which is in also the old Finland area, right, which now is Russian owned. So I don't, we'll talk about that. I didn't put it into the bad because I have some theories of why we didn't really talk about it. But anyways, I should have put it in the bad, but I didn't. Um, so it's like 2 years after the fact of Sisu one, and now Sisu himself is going into Russian occupied Finland to get his old family home and uproot it with this beautiful truck. By the way, I don't even know what kind of ancient truck they found for this movie, but it's a beautiful truck. It's like a character on its own, which I should have listed in the good, but I love that truck. And so he loads up his truck and with his old family home, like he tears it apart and puts it all back together on the truck, or not together, but on the truck to load it cargo wise. And he goes to make his way back to Newfoundland. And that's the thing, is the journey of taking his home to Finland. That's his goal. That's why it's called the Road to Revenge, or really the road is him taking his home back to Finland, right? But trials and tribulations happen and villains appear, and Sisu doesn't get to take the easy way home, and he has to kill a lot of people to get his home to Newfoundland. Okay, so that's all I'm going to talk about the story. But let's get into the rest of the good here. Okay, so point number two, this movie, and I did rewatch Sisu before I went and saw this. Okay, because like I own it, I have a copy. I love Sisu. I watch it regularly. So sitting down, watching Sisu and then Sisu two, and I remember thinking a lot about my review for Sisu one, where I was like, this is a very grindhousey um, movie, right? And that's in the action elements of it. And when I was sitting down watching this one, and I should have watched my review for CC one to see if I made this point or not. But this one really plays out as a spaghetti western. And I'm talking about like the old school Corbucci spaghetti western stuff, like Django and Silence. So this is like 1966 and 1968 type of era of films, right? And I bring this up because there's a lot of really wide vista shots, and just you see the truck trugging along, and it's just beautiful, right? The truck itself is the horse, right? Because in Sisu one he has a horse for a brief minute moment, right? And in that one also there's really beautiful vista shots, so it's very westerny as well. There's a lot of western elements in this movie, and it's a lot in the wides, man. There's some really great wide shots in this film, especially once we get into like the standoff, the first standoff in chapter two, I think it is, or it's chapter one. I think it's the first standoff between Igor Dragunov and Atami, right? So that's a very beautiful wide with the church in the background, the truck on one side, and the little jeep and the soldier vehicle. It just looks really nice, right? I'm just like, wow, that's a beautiful shot. This movie has a lot of beautiful shots. In the beginning, it starts off like very wide and very beautiful, but then as we start to get closer to the end, it starts to, you know, narrow down and get tighter. And that's, I think, part of the film storytelling in a sense is like like the world is Sisu's oyster right now. He just has to get to Finland and set up his home and he'll be fine. But all this chaos and trials and tribulations are choking him and is sending him down this narrow point of view where he just has to go and kill everyone in front of him for his freedom. You know what I'm saying? It's beautiful. I enjoyed so many scenes in this movie, just like visual scenes. And also to add on to this too, the music in this movie is the score side of things is really nice as well. Very cowboy spaghetti western, and then it turns into grindhouse gore or action gore at the end, which is great because like that's very good balance, and that's what I like. And even the grindhouse violence side of things, not as much as hmm. Actually, I'd say it's about the same, maybe a little bit more than one. I have to think about that. But anyways, point number three. We have Tamila. I always pronounce this guy's name wrong, and I'm sorry, dog. I'm sorry for screwing it up again. But he plays Atami Corpi. I hope I pronounced that right too. That's why I just call the guy Sisu, okay? He is Sisu, and he's the man who refuses to die, okay? And he's the same character as Sisu 1. There's nothing different in this character at all. He doesn't change. He doesn't become something that you're not used to. He is still the same Sisu. And this guy has that grit and just determination, and he's a presence on the screen. He speaks with his face and his eyes. He says no words in this movie. Um, which is pretty much similar to Sisu 1 until the very end when he's at the bank and he's like, cash, all of it. Which I still wish he didn't speak in Sisu 1, especially after my rewatch, because you're just so into this character that he doesn't need to speak. Him being voiceless speaks volumes because of just his actions and his presence. And again, like he speaks a lot with his eyes and his face, and like when he takes damage, like you feel it because you see it in his face and those body language and stuff like that. And he's just a great character, and Jorma does a great job at bringing Sisu to life again, and I just enjoy it. Like I just enjoy watching this dude on the screen these uh trying to figure out how to take down these Russians who are chasing after him. And they are relentless, this group of people that are after him. They're relentless and they want to kill him by any means necessary. And it's like, how is he going to get through this next trial and tribulation? Like his thought process and how he's going to do this next action beat and this next action beat. And honestly, we'll get to point five. But that's just what this character is, right? Refuses to die, and he's like that from beginning to end. And the end of the movie too is it's nice. You know what I'm saying? It's nice. Which I forgot to write down. The ending is nice, but the ending is nice. So then we have newcomer to the series, Stephen Lang, who plays Igor Dragunov, and so him and Sisu kind of have a little history together, right? Not necessarily together or their paths have ever crossed during war times, but during the war, Igor is the guy who killed Sisu's family, his two sons and his wife. And in the movie, it describes how he did it, and it's pretty brutal, right? And so he has a little history with Sisu in that regards, because when Sisu finds out about the death of his family, that is when the legend of Sisu begins in World War II. And that's what he goes and kills, like the 300 Russian soldiers that we hear about in Sisu I. This is a part of that legend of Sisu is in this movie as well. Well, the tail end of it, right? And that is one reason why the Russians want to get a Tommy because of the war. I don't want to say war crimes, but the war history between Atami and the Russians. The Russians want their realistically they want their scalps. You know what I'm saying? And that's where they go and get Igor out of he's in a jail in like Siberian prison somewhere, and they break him out. Well, they don't break him out, but they release him and pretty much tell him like, hey, if you go and kill a Tommy for us and bring us his head, we will free you. We will make you a hero, and you will have all the riches and the fame and the fortune and all that stuff. Like they gas him up to go and kill a Tommy, who was the guy who's responsible for killing 300 soldiers. Blah blah blah, right? And Igor says, "Yeah, we're going to do it." And so Igor from the moment we see Igor, and he's like, it's a nice little like him just being locked away in a prison. Like it's a nice little great little intro. The moment we see him, um, he's chasing Sisu the entire film, like nonstop, relentlessly, and it's great. I really liked him because he's also he talks right, and he gives us some quips, some one-liners, but he doesn't. He's not like yappy. You know what I'm saying? He also is a very strong and silent man as well. But when he does talk, it's more of like he's expressing what the audience is feeling. Like there's a moment, I believe, if I recall, like like Sisu does something, he's just like, "Oh shit." Or like yeah, like there's things like that. There's some comedic beats with this character too that are very subtle. They're ha funny, but it's just like just old school kind of comedy where like blood splatters on his windshield and he like puts the whip windshield wipers on to wipe it off, right? And it's just humorous, right? Not ha funny, but just situational humor. And it's appreciated. And I like the character. Now, I don't know how good his Russian accent is, to be perfectly honest with you, but I'm also, yeah, because like I'm in Canada, man. I don't really hang out with Russians. I don't know what they sound like in real life. So the only way I know how Russians sound is honestly through film, and I'm pretty sure it's probably absolutely horrible. But anyone in the comment section down below, if you can think of a good Russian accent that's in a movie that you would be like, yes, this is what Russians really sound like, tell me, and I'll go check it out. Because, like, I'm pretty sure Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow and what's his face as the Russian Captain America guy, the Red Soldier. Um, I'm sure their accents are not accurate. anyways, let's go on. I don't want to tell you any more story beats with Igor at all because he has a little something that he does at the end of the movie. But let's get into the good the juicy bits of this film like for a minute here, all right? Because this movie has some damn good kills, like just great kills. There's so many of them. Like I think I think I would say that Sisu One might have some of the better kills than this movie. I think so. I think they were a little bit more inventive, especially that landmine kill is still awesome. But this one has some pretty good kills too. Because I like my favorite kill is at the beginning of the movie where he snipes the one guy and then he takes the truck and runs over another guy, and when he runs him over, he like runs him over on like runs over the dude's like groin, and it's painful looking. But then when he floors it to go forward, he sends the dude flying back into Igor's Jeep, and he crashes through the windshield, and blood just goes everywhere. Loved it. I just thought it was very grindhousey, very over the top, very comical, and I enjoyed it. And that's kind of what we get with the kills here. A lot of just good old fashioned kills, like just straight like pop your head off like it's a water balloon and blood everywhere, which is great. And then you get some more inventive kills, like the one at the beginning. Then um, and then there's the end kill as well, which we might discuss that in the bad, because we're going to go to that next, which is the bad. Because like the whole movie, I don't want to spoil it, but I enjoy like, again, I enjoyed it. There's a lot of crazy things that go on in this film, like the airplane. I think that's in the trailer. Is how he takes down the airplanes. There's what else is there? Like without spoiling it, the airplane sequence was really well done. I enjoyed it because I was sitting there when you're watching, you're like, how is he going to handle these airplanes while he's in a truck with his house on it? And it's like, oh, okay, that's pretty inventive. And then when he's on the train too, the train sequence at the end, well, that whole last like 20-minute train sequence is pretty nice, where it's like he's like stealth assassin, and then it gets very brutal, and then very very brutal. Like it amps up, you know what I'm saying? It's like starts off small, which is the great way to do action, right? You start off low and you work your way up to the beats to the big finale, right? And that's what this is. And there's even a very good I wouldn't say it's a great hand-to-hand combat scene. Like we're not talking Jackie Chan here, you know what I'm saying? But just a good old-fashioned fisticuff fight between Tommy and Igor at the end. Very nice, very justified. Because a part of this movie too that I would like to point out is like Igor taunts a Tommy a couple of times. He definitely taunts him at the end on the train, where he's like, "I'm the one who killed your kids and your wife, and how I did it," and he tells him, and that's what sets Atami off and goes into full Sisu mode, and it's great. It's just great. Like he's not, there's nothing stopping this man from getting his revenge, because like the first chunk of this movie, the first couple of chapters, is all he wants to do is get his home to Finland. He's not going to stop at any cost to get that home there. And then now the second part is, now I'm not only am I going to get my home to Finland eventually, which which he does. um I'm going to kill this dude by any means necessary. So he has two missions, right? And it's great. It really is. And the end sequence, when he finishes everything and you just see him coming down, it's beautiful. Like you're like, yes, Sisu, you freaking did it. And the ending is also like a very like, we can all rest. It's very satisfying. Like, what a roller coaster ride. The end of the ride, and Sisu gets to rebuild his home. You know what I'm saying? And it's beautiful. And we'll talk about that in the conclusion section. So let's get to the bad, okay? Really, there's none. And I was sitting there thinking about this when I was watching the movie itself. I was like, there's really no bad in this film. However, maybe, maybe you might sit there and go, you know what? This movie's more of the same pacing of Sisu 1. Like it's kind of cut and paste. Not necessarily cut and paste, but there is moments where you're like, oh, this is how CC1 played out. Like it's like a little bit of this action beat, a little bit of this action beat, a little bit of this action beat. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but some people out there might criticize that. I personally didn't give a damn, but I noticed it at the same time, because there's even a sequence in this movie where um he takes the truck off the edge of the cliff and he's underwater and the logs are floating everywhere. And it just reminded me of when he's in the like I guess that's a little lake in CC1, where he's underwater and he's killing the Nazis, and it just kind of had a little samey kind of vibe to me, and I'm like, oh, okay, so we're at this point in the movie where he's in the water now. And then after this point, we're gonna get something crazy, right? And then there's the one sequence in CC1 where he's being tortured at the gas station, and then in CC2, he's being tortured in the train caboose thing, right? So I'm just like, okay, I can see we're a little samey kind of thing going on here. But at the same time, to me, I always look at these Sisu movies as like they're little stories, like they're little. These are like little novelettes that would have been sold during like wartime or after wartime about these legends of this character, right? And so this is how it would be played out, like very same samey in that regards. And so I just looked at it like that. I'm like, well, if I'm telling a good story from one, I'm going to tell another good story in two, and these events are going to happen, and I need to have these beats. So it's why not, right? It's very like who cares? But I just wanted to write that down as a potential bad. I didn't personally. I didn't think it was a bad. It's just a noticeable, and maybe people out there would be like, you know what, it's too much of the same. But I honestly didn't give a damn because I enjoyed the same. But it's not really the same. It's just the pacing. Yeah, yeah. That's all. Okay, now let's get into the silly because we have a couple silly things. And like honestly, come on guys. It's not a Sisu movie without some silly, okay? And by far the silliest thing in this movie, you know what? Hold on, let me go back to the back for a second. And another thing about the same sameness of this, because and this is a spoiler, but if you remember from Sisu One, how he kills the one guy in the plane with a missile, then you'll understand that how he kills the end guy on a train with the missile is very same samey. You know what I'm saying? And even though it is different enough where it's still entertaining, you can still sit there and go, "Oh, I've seen this before." Right? I need to see something different. And I could, that's kind of where you're at. Is this a bad or not? But that's all I kind of want to point up. There's very specific points in this movie where you're like, this has happened in CC1 at almost the same time. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, right? But I enjoyed it, so I didn't care. I just something I noticed. Okay, so let's get back to the silly, because again, like I said, a Sisu movie is not a Sisu movie without some silly. And in the first Sisu movie, we had the airplane scene where he crashes it and he lives. Super silly, super disconnection of you. You have to be full on imagination in this one, in that instance. And in this one, we have something very similar, which is the tank, the tank jump. Okay, and it's so silly. It's so silly. So the Russians have a military point, right? And it's the gate between Russia and Newfoundland, right? And so Sisu has a tank. I'm not even going to explain. He has a tank. He has it loaded up, and he's driving it forward with this family home is attached to it too, and he's driving it forward towards the checkpoint. And you would naturally just assume he's just going to drive it right through these people and kill everybody. But that's not what happens. He somehow nitro boosts the tank. I can't even explain it because I don't understand how he does it. And then he detonates the tank with the explosives around it. It does a 360 jump, pretty much like Rocket League, over top of the checkpoint, and it lands short of the finish checkpoint. And so he's in the middle of a dead zone, and Igor was about to kill him when he flops out of the tank. Oh, and I'd like to point out the dog. Again, the dog is alive. He's in the tank with Sisu, by the way. I just want to point that out. Sisu flops out of the tank, and Igor's about to kill him. And then the Russian generals are like, keep him alive, we want him. So, and that's the silly part. That is the silliest part in the entire movie. Yes. And I laughed. I laughed. I thought it was amazing and crazy. And I'm just like, man, Sisu, you you just coming up with some crazy ideas. And it's silly. It's so silly. And okay, I was entertained. That's all that matters. And so the other silly part, just like in the first one, this sheepdog. I don't even know what type of dog this is, but it's cute. I think it's some kind of sheepdog. I can't remember what it is though, but it's very curly hair. It's very cute, and the dog is immortal. Sometimes when I was watching this movie, I'm like, is there like I was like, is this dog some sort of ancient god that is protector of Sisu, and that is what's giving Sisu this ability to just be a man that cannot be defeated, like this immortality, so to speak. And I'm like, I wonder if there's like some Finnish god that's like ancient Norse god or like whatever the Finlanders, Finnish, my bad, guys, my bad. The Finnish people have of like ancient gods, if they have any at all. Like I don't know, but if there is, and it's like imbued in this dog, and this dog is like, in my mind, I'm just sorry, and don't get no disrespect, but I'm just thinking like this dog is like low key like Loki or like even like Odin in here, right? But whatever the finished version of that is, if there is one. But like, and he's like the protector of Sisu, so to speak. Like, I don't know. This dog cannot die, and he's in some of the most craziest predicaments. And I'm like, please don't let this dog die. This dog doesn't die, but every time he's in a weird predicament, I'm just like, please don't die, dog. You kind of root for this dog. He's in some crazy predicaments, except for the end. He's not in it at the train sequence. Actually, I don't even remember him. Is he at the end? End? I can't even remember. I have to think about that. I think he is at the end. End. He has to be. Yeah, he has to be. I can't remember though, because the end is nice. Like it's a nice way to wrap it all up. So let's get into the conclusion. Should you watch this film? Okay, I know I'm incredibly late with this review, but if you still have a chance to go and see this movie in the theater, go and see it. Cheap night, full price, whatever. Go and see this movie so we can get another Sisu film, please. If it's too late, okay, that sucks, then get it on streaming, digital, whatever. Rent it, buy it, get it. Okay, it's a great film. It's a perfect rainy day action film, or a sick day action film, or a snow day action film. It is great. You're going to have a good time watching this movie. I had a good time watching this movie. And if you liked Sisu 1, you're going to like Sisu 2. It's very straightforward like that. So go and see this film. I I just want another Sisu movie. So please go see this movie. Now, will this movie go into my collection? That is an obvious yes. I will get the 4K as soon as it drops. I will be buying it. And I'm adding a new sequence here. What's next? Because I really want another sequel to this movie, or just another Sisu movie in general. So the first Sisu movie that I would like to see, now that we're at this point in time with the storytelling, is I think we deserve the Sisu prequel, which is about Atami fighting the Russian soldiers, the 300 men that he kills. Give me that. Just call it Sisu 300. I don't care. Give me that movie. I want to see Sisu just go full John Wick for an hour and a half of killing 300 Russian soldiers. Make it happen. I will go and see this movie 1000%. I think we deserve it. Give it to me. Just give it to me. Please give it to me. If not, and you want to make another sequel, then give me. I'm thinking Sisu, and he's the equalizer now, right? Because he built his house at the end in this, like, Newfoundland. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe there's some Russians, maybe there's some Nazis just hanging out that didn't leave, and there maybe some kind of mafia starting up, and they're being terrorizing the town. And you know what? They didn't know that Sisu's in the town, so now we get Sisu the Equalizer. Give me that movie as well. Okay? Or hey, if you got a different idea than me, then give me that movie too. But that's what I would like to see. Those two type of films. Specifically, I really want the prequel. I really want that. But if not, give me what you can give me with Sisu. I want another one. And that is it for me, my friends. Tell me in the comment section down below, did you enjoy Sisu 2? Do you want another Sisu? Yeah, man, I want another Sisu. I can't wait to rewatch this movie. I really want to watch it again. So that's it. I'm out, everybody. I'm gonna go to bed. I need some sleep. My throat's getting scratchy. I need to get some cough medicine too. So leave a like, hit the comments, like I said, subscribe, notification bell, all that fun stuff. I will see you when I see you. Actually, wait a minute. It's Wednesday. No, it's Thursday. One more day until the weekend. So don't work too hard. Be safe. And you know what I'm saying? It's been a while since I've done this. Enjoy the movies, my friends. Peace out. Bye.